Imagine your heart stops working, and instead of a transplant from another person, you're given a mechanical heart. For centuries, this idea sounded like science fiction. But in 1982, Dr. Robert Jarvik and his team made it real with the permanent artificial heart called the Jarvik 7. The dream of an artificial heart had existed for decades, but no one thought it was possible. Dr. Robert Jarvik worked at the University of Utah and designed the Jarvik 7 in the early 1980s. In 1982, a man by the name of William DeVries implanted this artificial heart into a man named Barney Clark, a dentist who was suffering from heart failure. Clark was able to live a total of 112 days with this artificial heart. While his quality of life was a little difficult, this was proof that a machine could completely replace a human heart and not just assist it. The artificial heart was a turning point in medicine. It created an entirely new field surrounding mechanical organ replacement. For the first time, patients who would have died waiting for a donor heart could now survive long enough based on this artificial heart. The invention also sparked many debates around its ethics, quality of life, and the role of technology in medicine. Today, artificial hearts and related devices are still used and have saved thousands of lives. The Jarvik 7 opened the door for so many innovations that continue to help us out today. This invention also reflected its zeitgeist, which is in the spirit of the 1980s. By then, open heart surgery had become a lot safer. New materials like biocompatible plastics were available, and society was more willing to try bold medical experiments in general. Also, Jarvik wasn't working alone. He was part of a artificial organ lab at the University of Utah, and this was a community of doctors and engineers that were dedicated to creating artificial organs. This was similar to even something like Silicon Valley because it was a bunch of medical and engineering professionals that were collaborating together which created a perfect environment for the artificial heart to emerge. Of course, this invention faced a lot of barriers for and to its creativity. Externally, many experts doubted it could work. Funding for it was extremely difficult, and the risks were enormous. Internally, Jarvik and his team had to fight fear of failure and public ridicule. Even after the first surgery, critics questioned whether it was even ethical. This shows exactly what we studied in chapter one when we talked about how persistence against both internal and external barriers is super important for breakthrough in your creativity. Now, finally, the artificial heart is a perfect example of goal-directed imagination. The problem was clear. Patients were dying from heart failure faster than we could get donor hearts available for them. That adversity created a ton of urgency, and Barney Clark's case was a perfect example of this. The artificial heart was a radical solution to a life or death problem, proving that adversity can fuel imagination and innovation in anyone. Now, the artificial heart isn't just a medical device. It's a story of an imagination, persistence, and the power of goal-driven creativity. It shows us that when we are faced with impossible problems, human innovation can literally keep the beat going. Thank you.